Yippee, another Pokemon video. Well, jokes aside, yeah. This was a video that I think I had planned all the way back, like in mid-August, actually. So, of course, Pokemon has gotten criticisms for being, well, too easy. Honestly, anyone who says that these games are too easy, or all of them are, play BDSP. I promise you will not regret that. But that's an interesting question. What if Pokemon had a hard difficulty? Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So, of course, obviously, I will be taking influence from certain games, and of course, talking about if Pokemon had a hard difficulty. Now, the four difficulties I have in mind are, of course, starting off with the trainer difficulty. This is, of course, the easiest mode. So, basically, how Pokemon games are now. Nothing changes. Next up, we of course have Gym Leader. Gym Leader mode. This is pretty much a normal difficulty, and pretty much all that would happen in this one is that moves do slightly more damage, and some items might not be as usable. Like Repel might go back down to like 70 steps instead of 100. Kind of something like that. Next up, we of course have Ace Trainer difficulty. Now, of course, this is where Pokemon gets a bit more interesting. Ace Trainer difficulty would of course be the hard difficulty. Battles would become much more difficult as moves would be doing about 2 times as damage. So, like, again, they'd be difficult. Delete 4 and Gym Leaders would be raised up by 5 levels. Actually, no, I think I'd do 10. I think I'd do 5 for normal. Items would cost a bit more, about like 1.5 times higher, and certain items would do a lot less. Like full restores would, well, actually bad example, but hyper potions do about 120 in health. I think I would have them be about 80. Then of course we of course have Pokemon spawns. Pokemon spawns would go down by 25%. So a Pidgey, let's say a Pidgey is about 40% on a certain route. It would go down to 30. So what about the final difficulty? Now this is meant to make Pokemon extremely difficult. Also kind of taking some influence from the Merciless difficulty from Persona 5. Now of course that difficulty is of course Elite 4 difficulty. Elite 4 difficulty would be the hardest difficulty in Pokemon. Items would cost double the amount that they already do. Moves would do 3 times as damage, with super effective moves topping out at 6 times the damage. Although it would be fair, as you can move twice in battle, so if you have to heal, you can still attack. The same thing goes for your opponents. Items would of course cost 3 times the amount, but be not as useful. Pokemon encounters would go down heavily by about 50%. EXP would work how it does in Gen 5, but be even lower. But in return, rewards in battle would of course double in prize money. And some items would be disabled or just not appear in the game, like full restores, max potions, and etc. The Master Ball would no longer be obtainable, as well. It's kind of meant to be a bit of a difficulty. Now, of course, these were some ideas I just had to make Pokemon a bit more difficult. I don't expect Nintendo to really do anything about this, because, well, I don't know. I mean, kind of questions, does Pokemon really need a hard difficulty? But that's all I really have to say for today. So, of course, until then, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.